After a bit of a hairy flight into Osh on Saturday morning, we were settled into our campsite and it was time to enjoy the event. We'd arrived a couple of days before the show officially opened, mostly because I wanted to be there to watch planes arriving on Saturday and Sunday. I'll put out a separate video with a bunch of clips of planes landing on runway 27, but for now, let's start with some of the highlights of the show itself. Our first stop, of course, would be to check out some of the Warbirds that had already arrived at the show. We made our way from our campsite at the departure end of runway 27 and walked over to the Warbirds area just inside the entrance to the show. This is maybe my favorite part of the show. I just love these old planes. The look, the sounds, the majesty of them is something else. I've always thought of the P-51 Mustang and the Spitfire as my favorites of the Warbirds, but I think that might have changed after spending some time ogling the Corsairs that were lined up there. Of course, I still do love the P-51s, and there was no shortage of them here at AirVenture. And the old Harvard T-6s are fantastic too, and there were a ton of them here as well. We got to watch all of these birds flying during the afternoon air show on Monday, which is coming up a little later in this video. And this is just the start of it. There's so many gorgeous old planes here. Fighters, bombers, troop transports, reconnaissance, cargo, you name it, it's here. After a while, we headed over to the area where the main exhibits are, just by Boeing Square. Being Saturday, the exhibits weren't fully set up yet, and none of them were open, but we got to wander around and watch them set up, and get pretty close to some of the exhibition planes without too many people around. Could you even fit in it?
He does.
Okay. Including some familiar planes from fellow YouTubers, like Flight Shops' RV-14, Josh's Cessna 172 from Aviation 101, and Glenn's Cessna 172 from Glenn's hangar. Unfortunately, none of the guys were around at the time, but we did meet up with Glenn later for a beer. There were fun little machines like this Pitts, and dream machines like this Piper M600. And war machines like this F-15 Eagle. I remember making models of this as a kid. I've always thought it was one of the most beautiful of the modern fighters. We got to see big heavy lift planes too, like Boeing's Dream Lifter and NASA's Super Guppy, which they used to fly rockets around the country. We were lucky enough to watch them opening up the front of the Super Guppy for the display. It's amazing to see it open, and what's even more amazing is once it is open, you see that there's just one little hinge that the entire front turns on. There was a Ford tri-motor here that you can buy a ride in. We didn't do that, but we did get to watch it take off. On Monday afternoon, we sat by runway 36 and watched the afternoon air show. It's not quite as stunning as the night air show, but it was spectacular nonetheless. I'm going to end this video with several minutes of highlights from the air show itself, but I'll leave you here. In the next video, I'll share some planes arriving at AirVenture, and then the flights home from OshKosh to Oshawa, which ended up needing to be IFR because of all the haze and smoke along the route. I hope you join me for that one. Thanks for watching. As always, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. I'll see you in the next one, and in the meantime, fly safe.
I'd make about a quarter turn and then fall out of the sky.
Runway 36 to pick up, the airspace is yours.